So they'll be calling you a radical. First and foremost, before we start this uh, podcast, if you're looking for dogma reinforcement, you're in the wrong fucking place. I hate each parties equally. Operation Foxconn News, they're the greatest that ever showed up in America. How do they do it? One, by just stream. Two, I finally agree with Bill O'Reilly on something. Bill O'Reilly finally agrees with Kevin Blanch. I've talked to him face to face more than once. He's an old Catholic workers' rights guy. Dorothy Day, when they used to be really anti-nuclear. But remember him on Colbert? Well, Stephen, it's all an act, which it is. And the insanity of Sean Hannity. Colbert, if you're not, what am I? So he calls out Fox News. Jane says, it's all about tell them what they want to hear. If you're here for tell them what they want to hear, run along. No wonder I don't have any viewership. You can run around to Alex Profiteer Jones. Oh my God, that dude gives me the heebie, creepy jeebies. All those right wingers do. The left wingers, just as bad. I'm Barack Obama. On Jimmy Kimmel. So, Walmart, mall walkers versus internet dogma reinforced shit talkers. Now, Barack Obama, is it true like Hillary said? He calls it the 4 in the morning? Hello. It's the fucking President of the United States. What do you think? Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, like when? When Fukushima happened. Jimmy Kimmel. What's that? Johnny Carson rolling over in his grave. What's Fukushima? This is Barack Obama. This is the guy in the Situation Room with Fukushima happened with Obama or whatever. He's the guy that backed out, make it so the guy. I have the transcript. I know word for word. I know who was in there. I know what was done. Classified. We'll hold her and let the cat out of the bag. The typhoon. He calls just the tsunami alone killed, 200,000-300,000 people. The greatest ecological catastrophe in human history, full blown out meltdowns, and he knew it from the beginning. He calls it a typhoon. He's a smart one. Bush dumb, Obama dumber, Trump dumbest. I mean, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. So there's the problem. You're looking for your dogma reinforcement. They've always tried to take nuclear energy and make it left pill, red pill, and they can't. And so the sheep are confused. They're running along to their right wing, blah, blah, blah. Here, I'm Joe Rogan, which is nothing more than Rush Limbaugh light. And then the lefties running over to Stephen Colbert, whoever, MSNBC, cherry picking, Democracy Now. I know Amy personally. She took on Fukushima for about 3 seconds. And then she ran up. Well, why? And I can verify this, everything. Even Helen told me this. It scares her investors. Fukushima, anybody ever talked about Fukushima, they had an AdSense account on YouTube, they had television, whatever, people fled. The weakling culture cannot handle the Fukushima truth. I mean, just wasting disease. So I just got a report from Tim Martin just called. He's on boots on the ground. I'll do another video about that. Guess how many? You don't think this is a catastrophe? 3 million returning Chinook salmon on the Columbia River in 2015. Well, that's post-Fukushima. The average Chinook salmon goes to sea on average of 5 years. I cannot overstate that. They go between 3 and 8. The average is 5. Most of them are 5-year-olds. I says they will collapse in 2016. 3 million on the Columbia records. Big bees, live cam on Amazon to watch it. Oh, magically the live cam went down. It's still down. Technical difficulties. I used to call them. They classified me. That's an unarguable fact. There's one on the hook. You heard me right. One showed up yesterday. Jim Martin's there. Call River Hatchery. He's boots on the ground. Just got a phone with him. He's there. One. It's April 20th. 420. Yeah. Whoa. So I got to tell you the story what happened last night. One of the craziest things that ever happened to me in my life happened last night. Scary as hell. I don't know how I didn't stroke out and have another heart attack. Whoa, talk about intense. So as you know, I'm documenting the river on the floods. And what's going on right now is intense. And I mean intense. That river is freaking raging like I've never seen it, dog. And last night was rough. So I pull up and I'm sitting there trying to just eat something real quick before I get out there and document it. And this dude pulls up next to me. He's like, roll down your window. Got a big shit-eating grin on his face. And so I roll down the window. He's like, let's go. I says, go where? The river. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's somebody watching my videos, whatever. And I realized, no. What's the time and the odds? I'm finishing. I'm just trying to eat. No, let's go now. Let's go. You ready? All right, let's go. So I go. You know, happens like this. I realize this dude is so wasted he can't even barely walk, and he's dancing around. I'm like, oh my God. I hurried and shot that video right there, and then I went to work getting him away from the river. He leaves his car running, the lights on. He's completely gonzoed, and I mean to the point he could barely walk. I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, God, what am I gonna do? I mean, I don't want this guy to get in trouble and get arrested. So I went down. I told him, get back. I talked to you. You got to get away from this river now. You hear me? Get away. Okay. So he kind of wandered back. I went down just the river a little, and I'm like, go back. So I went back. Couldn't find him. There he is, sitting on the edge of the river. Got his feet dangling in it. I'm like, oh God. So I go talk to him again. And he's like, by the way, it's ice cold here today. And I mean ice cold. 15 degrees below normal again here today. So I don't know what to do. So I go talk to him again. I videoed all this. I haven't put it online. I'm like, come on, man. I'll give you a ride. I'll help you out, whatever. You got to get away from this river, dude. This thing's raging. One slip, he can barely stand up. He's that wasted. He's drinking something out of a bottle. You want something? No. And you can't get him. He's, incoherent almost. He's got a camera or phone he's trying to talk to. So I back off, give him space. He walks up the river, does it again. He's right on the edge. I'm like, so I go over there again. I'm like, hey, man, this thing is way too dangerous. One little slip and you'll drown. What? You could drown in this? He's mumbling. I'm like, oh, you could see, he's probably in his 30s. He's of native descent. And, you can see in the video. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what do I do? I don't want to fucking call the cops. I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't know what to do. So finally, I'm talking to him. I'm getting nowhere, and he's gonna drown. There's no doubt in my mind. So finally, I do it. Call the authorities, which I didn't want to. And they sent a cop over, and my heart was just fucking racing. I had just had open heart surgery, and I mean racing. I was a nervous fucking wreck. So the cop came. Where's he at? And I said, he's over there sitting on the other side of the bank. The car's still free. I think the car ran out of gas. Light's still on it. Sitting there, and I'm like, he says, the cop's like, I got this. I says, okay, it's all yours. And so I'm out. I'm not going to get in this cop's space. I'm not going to get in anybody's space. Let him do what he's got to do, save this guy's life. And there's no doubt in my mind that his life was saved. Absolutely no doubt in my mind his life was saved. He would have drowned for sure. What is the odds? My timing. He didn't know me from Adam. He just happened to pull up at the same time I did. There's no doubt in my mind. This river, it freaked me out so hard. My heart just racing. I just had open heart surgery. I was so stressed out, but it all worked out for what I think I had to work out. So, and that's why I always tell everybody, you got a camera, cams up, hands up, cams up all the time. And it's about communications, but some people you can't communicate with. That's the problem. He was obviously wasted. He was incoherent. But anyway, back to the salmon and the Dogma Reinforcement TV. Like I said, why do you think I get no traction? I got a lot of traction when Alex Jones and Jeff Rance and the radical right, who are nothing but profiteers, were using Fukushima to make money. The due diligence came out in the Alex Jones trial, which Alex Jones basically told everybody that he was mentally ill. Okay. And they had my tide pool videos, all my work being done, tagged on their sites, and right underneath it, there's "Buy Your Survival," marked up 1,000%. They marked that stuff up 1,000%. And the due diligence comes out, they made millions. Literally made millions. Neither one of them, and I did all the work. I'm doing all the proof. I'm dying of cancer. I'm full of leukemia. I'm on to the day. Either one of them ever sent me 5 cents? No, and so, of course, they're going to squash me down. The truth is a mofo. So, I cannot overstate this. So, in Germany, they had a giant parade to celebrate the nuclear reactors going down last weekend. They had a giant celebration in Munich. They're the best, man. And right out front, the parade that led the parade, which many thousands of people, they had a banner. Guess what the banner said? Fukushima. Angela Merkel, nuclear physicist, Fukushima. The German engineers, the German scientists, the German biologists. By the way, you should see what they're doing with energy over there. We don't hear that here. They have wind towers without paddles on them. Spirals inside. It's incredible. What they're doing in Austria, in Germany, in places like Denmark. But then there's not only that, they have a massive anti-consumption campaign. They're tearing out concrete and replacing it with green space in an epic way. Here in Utah, right here, we got this electric bus system coming from 25th to what's supposed to be a tram. That whole thing has been being fought over since 1998. It's been on the drawing boards and under construction since 1998. I'm not kidding. And it's green, and they're pouring massive. The concrete's already all busted up at Weber, all over. Harrison Boulevard is a freaking nightmare, has been for years now. This greenwashing bus, which we already had a bus that went from the parking lot over there, it's nothing new, but it's electric. They have electric buses. We have electric buses here. But guess where electricity comes from in Utah? Oh, you got it. Fossil fuels. Why doesn't we sun? The sun shines 300 days a year here. Because lobbyists own. Because just what I said, political dogma. You got Trump calls them the radical right. I call them the ignorant right. They're going to be imperialists. It's the imperialist right, Obama. Celebrities. You're going to be a Hollywood superstar. Don't mean nothing till you sign on the dotted line. You're going to be the next celebrity freaking politician. Oh, it's pathetic. I love all the lefties still on their knees for Obama. Let's see, he lost 12 Senate seats. He lost 80-something congressional seats. He lost how many governorships? He perpetuated the war even harder than. That's the new litmus test post 2000. When Fox News called the election, Roger Ailes called the election for Bush against lay down Gore. Why did lay down Gore lay down? Real easy. And they never ruled, the Supreme Court never ruled that he didn't win. How many votes did it take to be president of the United States? 6. 5 Supreme Court justices, and your daddy who put him there. Bush didn't win. All the other 30 networks called it for Gore. Fox News, one by Jetstream, 2 by we're going to ban TikTok. Okay, what about Fox News? Fox News is now get this. There's a veterans organization who is suing Fox News right now and to ban Fox News anywhere near or on a military base. These are veterans. I protest with those guys. They protest out at Scripps. You know about Scripps in the desert at the Nevada test site where my dad was nuked to death? That's what they do. They're droning. These guys line up with signs. These kids are playing video games. Bradley Manning. Now there's a patriot. The only one. Think about the whole sham with Michael Hastings. What happened to him? Pat Tillman, Macon Rice. What happened to all of them? But the thing that gets me is Ernst Schwartz, MIT, just downloading a server. That's all he did. You get 35 years for downloading a server. That's more time than freaking murderers get. So, Edward Snowjob, who's one of the greatest con man double agents. Now, you do know the so-called journalist at Wall Street Journal that's been arrested in Russia, you do know he's Russian. He's Eastern European. Is he a double agent? I don't know. So, but we released Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner entered 2 weeks after the State Department said, do not enter. Oh, I get those emails. Trust me, because I used to travel that part of the world. And she went in anyway. She didn't know. But her agent sure the hell did. But the agents get a big piece of it. So Joe Ballenboy, who played here, very similar to Brittany, big, tall center, African-American descent, playing center in Moscow, just like her. 2 weeks before she enters, he's getting the hell out and left all. You know how much money it cost him to leave? He knew. Get out, get out, get out. They seized all his money. They took everything. He sued them and won. And he stood up to the machine. He's playing in Greece. We love that dude. I helped recruit him. We love that guy. Speaking of that, you see what Jerry Harding's doing over there in Europe? The NBA is so stupid. He wears 3 over there in Spain. This guy's the best player I ever saw in my life, ever. I watched Lillard play. I watched Hart play. I watched all these guys play every game. He's the greatest basketball player I ever saw. He's unstoppable. He can put up 50 anytime he wants. But the NBA is a cookie cutter league because the NBA, they don't care about winning. Absolutely. They care about selling sports merchandise. It's a sports merchandising company. Major League Baseball, the same thing. The NFL, it's getting there. The greed of what's happened to these leagues. It's like, yeah, we love Cohen. Kaepernick. I loved him at first. I'm like, God, how great. He played in Nevada. I was like, yes, yes, yes. But then what happens? The capitalistic rope gets him. So he's this counterculture with an E, but then he signs a contract with Nike, the greatest exploiters of slave labor maybe in human history. Oregon Nike, back to the Rogue, to the Columbia. So the Columbia River right now has less than 1,000 fish for the year, the Chinook. The 10-year average for the 10-year mean is getting really low because they started to crash in 2016. It's 10% of the 10-year mean daily. They should be getting 3,000 or 4,000 a day. They're getting 30 or 40 a day. It's a catastrophe. They have little spaghetti chips inside these fish in some of the little small fracs from the hatcheries. And so they know how many, and you're still going to go, oh, here's Mother Jones promoting nuclear energy, won't mention Fukushima. I mean, here's the left. This is the left in this country. Where they Barack Obama ran against the war machine. He was the anti-war candidate. He was one of the only junior senators in the country, senator from Illinois, had voted against both wars. The very few of those guys had voted against both. And so everybody voted for him. That's the only reason. It's the only reason. He was the anti-war. He was the anti-Dick Cheney, the anti-George Bush, Rumsfeld, Colin Powell, Saddam Hussein as weapons of mass destruction. That was the election. He won. So he gets elected, and he becomes as big as warmonger as. Do you know he's blood related to Dick Cheney on the mom's side? His mother's name's Stanley, for real. You know, she died young of cancer, tragically, you know, which is heartbreaking. Apparently he don't care, you know, the typhoon, Fukushima, downwinders on Balco. And so here's the left. The left, Democrats, give Dick Cheney a standing ovation on the Senate floor, while the right's sitting down. Up is down, black is one of the greatest war criminals in human. Look up, he's got bench warrants all over the world for his arrest. Look when he showed up to Canada. Same with Kissinger. Got to go talk to him. Kissinger's going to be 100 next month. You know, he had heart bypass surgery in the 80s. You know, so he's still running the show and 100 years old. I mean, you remember during Vietnam? Warrants for his arrest all over the world. War criminals. Went off to Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong. Whoa. Went after, I mean, so we go back to the 90s. Who knew we'd long for the days of Bill Walmart Clinton? You know, he was immoral. Dennis Hastert said so. Whoa. Left is right, right is left. I mean, they're both, neither party's post-2000 have seen a military industrialized war pig contract they didn't love. Neither party's never seen a mega agriculture. Oh, we're going to have food shortage. You seen people? We overproduce. I mean, the food that we have, the dairy in this freaking country. I will quote my dietitian. You know, I didn't have a transplant. Kevin, you eat American dairy, you might as well put a gun in your mouth. It's poison as hell. Yeah, I know. Milk their cows 4 times a day, feed them those hormones, and then wonder why male breast cancer is on the rise. Wonder why female colon cancer is on the rise. Well, the meats know better. You know, you go to Europe, which I spent a lot of time there, and they have this billboard advertisement. It's a piece of steak shaped like the United States, and it says in perfectly good German, French, you know, we say fuck and say, excuse my French. Well, that's a German word. That used to be a city. Excuse my German, excuse my French. 99999999999. No nuclear energy. The other side of the river, way. But even they're pivoting. The whole world's pivoting. And nuclear renaissance. But anyway, they have a campaign. And it lists all the stuff that's in American meat. You know, a cow matures 6 months quicker for slaughter than it did even 20, 30 years ago. The hormones are killing this country. I mean, look at longevity in there. They're like organic. They just laugh at it. It's like when I was picking in the Central Coast. Here we are. I'm in Castroville, sleeping on the floor with the pickers. And there's a fence line on the strawberries. And one side of the fence says organic, the other says non-organic. So, it's insanity what we've done in this country. The whole world's still got Fukushima. And then now you got CNN comes out and says, oh, they're doing a piece. They won't say Fukushima. Anderson, Vanderbilt, Cooper, and Sanjay Gupta at Fukushima said nuclear meltdown 1,000 times for the first 6 days. Remember that had that Jim Walls, fake MIT scientist, propagandist? Oh, and I'm screaming, get out. The wind shift after day 6, they got out. Never mentioned it again, Anderson, Vanderbilt, Cooper, until yesterday. They come out yesterday, 4,400 and What, 30 days later, over 12 years, yes, the fishing industry has recovered from the Fukushima. The amounts of radiation in the early days is it's all diluted. What? When the Minister of Environment in Japan verified a year ago that there is 1,400 becquerels per kilogram of cesium-137 in the rockfish caught south of Fukushima. Now, 1,400, 14 times over that's over the raised legal limits. They raise them in Japan. That's over 100 times over the legal limits. Now, the United States, Barack Obama's answer to Fukushima was crash RadNet. What's RadNet? RadNet detect conditions were all over this country. They took them offline. Gina McCarthy was head of RadNet. She was such a good soldier, he made her head of the EPA. Oh, Biden made her climate czar. Oh, let's boil all the Earth's water. That's the answer. When the rest of the world's like, they woke up. Fukushima. I mean, and Renaissance. There's no nuclear energy renaissance. So in the United States, Obama raised the legal limits 3 separate times, many times. Trump got rid of them. We need to dissolve the Department of Energy. The DOE needs to be. The DOE is nothing more than the Department of Nuclear Propaganda Pork. It's the Department of Nuclear Energy, Nuclear Bomb. Which came first, the chicken? They're the same thing. Pork. And the media will roll out the half nukers. Helen said that Fukushima are tidy people. They cleaned it up. She said that in 2012-13. Oh, okay, Helen. She told me to my face, and I know Helen good, that I couldn't use the F word. Fukushima, I'm like, why? It scares your investors. I told her, well, we'll sell some more books. Right on, Helen. And so there's pictures with her and I. I sat with Noam Chomsky that day. They all dropped the ball. Democracy Now! Dropped it immediately. I know Amy personally. I've jumped her about this. She's in her little cocoon. I mean, the money poisons these people. As soon as they talk Fukushima, the ratings go down. The insanity of Sean Hannity, Operation Foxconn News. How did they do it? One by Jetstream, two by. They're a foreign entity. They're from Mother England. The same. Now we got King Charles, his great-great-grandfather, King George. Remember, he issued warrants, death warrants for every man, woman, and child living in the United States. All of them. You revolt. Remember the prison ship memorials? I've done so much work there. At Fort Greene Park, at Opelos. There's how many dead bodies in there? So they lined up every man, woman, and child in Brooklyn. Hi. Howdy. And they lined them all up. Loaded them on ships, sent them to England to be tried for treason. They never intended to take them there. Just parked the ships out there. All the sailors and people got on other ships and went back to home to Mother England, to their king. We're still got monarchies in this day and age. Firstborn unicorn. Prince Harry drops a baby in California. The old Russian Empire. They've been fighting over this land for 500 years. They all starved to death or drowned trying to swim back. A few of them made it back swimming. Lafayette adopted Samuel. Whoa, what did he do to General Clinton? Not Bill. Whoa, right there in Fort Greene. Right there, New York, the Battle of New York. Hamilton led, they lost that battle. Boy, talk about pay the price. But won the war. Gained our independence. For a while. They floated up the Potomac. The only time the United States soil has ever been attacked by foreign entities. So, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii was not a state in 1940. On December 7th, it was not a state. And by the way, did the U.S. let that happen? Well, lots of documentaries say they knew they were in there and didn't do anything about it. They need a trigger. for war machines. 9/11, Pearl Harbor, the Lusitania. You go on and on and on and on. So you got to have an event. And then these bloodthirsty, geographically illiterate, dogma slurping freaks in this country, they couldn't tell you Singapore from China to jolly old England on a map. We're going to ban TikTok, which I'm all for banning any foreign entity influencing media. But what about the born and raised in the United States? My dad gave his life. My uncle stood on the beach on D-Day that raised me. I came from one of those families. So what about us? They got us lined up by the Google, Facebook, YouTube, all the big platforms. Google used to call themselves the Great Equalizer. Well, who took them over? What's 3 branches of government in here? Talk about it's destroy our civil rights. My First Amendment right has been annihilated. Right before I had a heart attack, almost killed me. Go put a strike on me for no reason, YouTube. Threatening to take my entire body of work down. They've been threatening me the whole time. It's very nerve-wracking. The most historic PhD in human history online. I've asked for people to help me. They're not going to help me do shit. I'm like, I need a lawyer. I need a good IT guy to package my work, and but it's one-man band because there's no money in it, what I do. There's no money in it, what I do. And this country's hypnotized by the capitalistic rope. There's no money, and they know it. They can't figure it out. How can I profit this? And they can't. So you see what, YouTube, alternative media, mainstream media has evolved into. You can see it. It's dogma reinforcement. They've got their crowd, and they're going to pander and bow to their crowd. I don't. So people get pissed at me. Oh, we can't figure out. Is this, he's a white, middle-aged male from Utah. He's got to be. I'm not a right-winger. I can't stand him. Never could. I'm not a lefty. Can't stand him. I don't do dogma reinforcement. I'm an anti-nuclear activist. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a human who loves my grandchildren. I'm a person who loves the ecology. So, there's a San Diegan. So, Fast Times at Ridgemont High right there. Claremont. Mission Bay on Balco. Morning. So, the fight is on. It's so cold that one Chinook salmon on the Rogue, and it's 420. 420. That whole culture. What have they done to the 420 culture? It ain't your father's marijuana. Oh no. Morning.
Good morning.
So, I told my friend he smokes like a chimney stack. I'm like, dude, what's in this stuff is going to get you. It's going to get you. And he's, what are you talking about? What is this music blaring somewhere? I don't know. That's another thing people don't realize at rallies. They got music blaring by design to stop you from live streaming. They'll knock you down, create copyright, freaking strikes so fast, make your heads off. And so people don't realize that. I tell people that all the time. You need to turn that music off. We can't live stream. We can't video. And if you are protesting and you don't have cameras, if the tree falls in the forest and no one's there to see it or hear it, what good is it? It's no good. And so let's walk outside here at the Great Junction City. Get away from these. So, my walkers had open heart surgeries, 3 months ago. And you want to talk exploitation and racism. I spend so much time earlier, and especially in California, walking the coast. I'm catching buses at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm all trying to find Wi-Fi because I used to use an iPad. The only people up using public transportation, they're brown. I mean, they're cleaning your toilets, they're making your beds, they're doing all this work, they're cooking your food, they're doing all their, I mean, they're so exploited, it's unbelievable, it's disgusting. And you want to talk racism. What if you're Native American? That's a whole freaking other right here in Shoshone land. So, firstborn unicorn. So, I don't do dogma reinforcement. And that's all media is, that's all YouTube is, that's all any of it is. They destroyed this country, especially since 2000. You've seen the debt. Both parties are guilty. You think there's any difference between Bush, Obama or Dumber, Trump done us, and senile sliding with Biden? Dumb and Dumber was filmed here. My buddy Butch Chavez, West 24th Street, the keg. I got to sit in the Mutt Cut van. You know, and I had a beer with Jim Carrey. Oh, I loved him. He was all that in person. Now, Daniels, whoa, he was an ass. But whatever, you know. Don't mean nothing till you sign it on this sleazy little town. You think it was sleazy then? It's sleazy on Balco. This place is corrupt as hell. But I want to say this about the water management. They've done an excellent, and Mother Nature's tried to help out, but it's ice cold, and it's getting late. It's 420. What they put in the marijuana these days, whoa, what they put in the marijuana. The great Junction City. There ain't many trains left. I mean, we had trolleys all over this country. What happened post-war? Eisenhower, the great, going to the auto industry. Weren't they Germans? Chevrolet. Well, Ford wasn't. Big oil. Auto industry won the day. They built all the freeways. They tore out all the freaking trolleys and turned this into California, rest in peace. Do you know cars are up? The big activism community in 1970s when I was heavily involved was zero growth. Don't have kids. Earth's overpopulated. Anti-car. Do you know cars are up over 3,000% since 1980 in the United States? The population is basically doubled. And cars are up 3,000%. And you wonder what the hell. But nuclear's going to save you? No, the sun. Alternative energy, solar. It's always been the answer. I mean, they were using those big windmills in Old Holland, now the Netherlands. They've been using those for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years. But there's no money in this. Oh, there's some solar panels right there. Huh. It's really a simple, easy technology. But they don't push it, of course not. There's no lobbyists in the solar industry. And trust me, it's me versus teams of them. New scale from hell, little SMRs are going to save us. Feel good, fairy tale freaking. How about new scale stock? Good. Oh, got people arguing. You ain't going off. It's been up. It's clear plus $14 guys goes off on me. How's that $14 share treating you now at $8? Below the IPO price. It's a sham. Well, that's what America is. A fucking sham. Place is so corrupt and out of control. Really out of control debt. Hyper psychotic inflation. Name the shithole country. Third world. America, you need to learn to speak American. America's Vespucci's from Italiano, Florence. He never set foot here. Huh. American what? Costa Rica, Argentina, Canada. We bought Alaska? What? So who attacked the U.S. soil? Who attacked the U.S. soil? There were Saudis on 9/11, so we went off to Iraq to get Dick Cheney friends of big. So people never touched and killed a couple million people. So the litmus test to be president now. The second you get elected, you have to go drone innocent men and women. You think I'm kidding? Obama, it got leaked to me a long time ago when he was still president. Obama said, who knew that I was really good at killing people? And everybody thought, well, he's just joking. Now there's 2 books out. His aide saying he wasn't joking. He would watch. He droned so many. He perpetuated that war. He was, talk about a fraud. He did the opposite of what he said he was going to do. How about Trump? He's the countercultures. He's private. My favorites, he killed net neutrality, which is the biggest blow to the First Amendment in history, is the death of net neutrality. Then he comes out after he signs net neutrality into law. Well, you heard about this shadow banning stuff? When he created shadow banning, he ran more debt than all the presidents combined. Then you got sliding with liar Biden. You can open the book on Fukushima? Oh, yeah. You going to replace net neutrality? Oh, yeah. He ain't done shit. It's status quo. He got Brittany out, but what about Mark Fogel? Oh, he's just a school teacher. Fuck him. You know, so then CNN leaks out yesterday. Of all people, CNN. What? The same day they're saying fish fine, when the Minister of Health in Japan saying, no, it ain't, no, it ain't. Who are you going to believe? Then they leak out, they read through the documents, that the DOE, non-proliferation expert, has read through the documents in the Big Z. I'm the guy that named the Big Z. And there's U.S. technology in there. And they're not talking about nuclear energy. They're talking proliferation, non-proliferation. Stand on the state line, turn uranium-238 and 235. They're saying, don't touch it. I said from the beginning, sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine cowboys, plutonium wars. Oh, the Netflix guy about Powder Mountain. I always bring this out when it's really cold because it's so warm. It's made in 1970s. It's real. And remember all those guys? They're going to turn Club Med at Snow Basin. They're going to put this big thing. They were all, what? They were Forbes 30 billionaires for 30 under 30. Liz Holmes, you think she'll really go to prison? She got convicted how long ago? I mean, there's more and more of them every day. Semi-am, the crypto scam. The young 30 billionaires they promoted, including these guys. So the Netflix guys bought it. I wonder how many times he drove the Powder Mountain Road. Woo, that thing will scare the hell out of you. It's right up the hill there. So I've had to drive. I retire this every winter because it's so warm. It's April. I have to keep digging it out because it is so cold here. We go from snow feast, snow famine. We couldn't get any for 10 years. The heat bubble, those night fires, the dead tide pulls, all focusing on the great coincidence era. Don't say the F word, Blanche. Helen said so. Busby says it's a big place it'll dilute. Arnie Gundership says, Blanche, you're wrong. For 7 years, it's a hydrogen blast. Full blown out meltdowns. Don't say the F word. Don't say the F word. Just the greatest ecological catastrophe in human history. So the Department of Energy, which is nothing more than a Department of Nuclear Energy porkism. That's all it is. New scale from hell. Stand tuned. This is for the big kids. No dogma reinforcement here. Stand tuned.